Remember that surprisingly high overall retention number we talked about?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out there's a crucial caveat to that.
Okay.
And it has some pretty major implications for how law firms approach their talent strategies.
Okay, you've definitely got my attention.
Yeah.
Let's take a closer look at this retention puzzle and unpack what it really means for law firms and their employees.
Let's do it. So before we dig into retention, we should probably quickly clarify what we mean by associate and partner in a law firm.
Okay.
Just in case some of our listeners aren't like super familiar with all the lingo.
Good point.
You can think of it kind of like a hospital.
Yeah.
So associates are like the residents,
Okay.
still learning the ropes,
Right.
while partners are the like seasoned doctors who are running the show.
Perfect analogy. Okay. So back to retention, you were saying there's like a hidden story behind those like seemingly positive numbers.
Exactly. Remember how we were both surprised that only about 13% of lawyers were actually dissatisfied with their firm's office policy?
Yeah, it seems surprisingly low.
Right, especially with all the chatter we've heard about lawyer burnout and pushback against returning to the office.
Right.
Well, here's the bombshell. Those lawyers who are unhappy with the office attendance policies are almost 3 times more likely to be thinking about leaving their firm
Wow.
in the next 6 months.
That's a third of their dissatisfied workforce,
Yeah,
potentially walking out the door.
exactly.
Whoa, that's a huge red flag for firms.
Uh-huh.
So even though overall retention looks pretty good on the surface,
Right.
there's a significant group of lawyers who are ready to jump ship if things don't change.
And in today's legal landscape, that's a major vulnerability for firms.
Yeah.
Especially with other firms offering more flexible arrangements.
Yeah.
It's a recipe for a talent drain. We're not just talking about losing any lawyer.
Right.
We're talking about losing the high performers.
Right, the ones who are most in demand.
Exactly.
It makes sense. If you're putting in the face time but not feeling the benefits,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you look for a better opportunity?
Right.
Especially if you know those opportunities are out there.
That's exactly the point. And this dissatisfaction is even more pronounced among lawyers who feel they're spending more time in the office
Okay.
than their peers without seeing any real gains in terms of collaboration or mentorship.
Yeah.
It's like they're being asked to make sacrifices without any payoff.
That's a recipe for resentment for sure.
Yes.
So how are some firms addressing these challenges?
Yeah.
Are they just like throwing their hands up?
Yeah.
Or are there like solutions out there?
Thankfully, the report offers some potential solutions.
Okay, good.
One of the biggest takeaways is, you guessed it, flexibility is key.
Of course.
It's not enough to simply mandate a certain number of days in the office.
No.
Firms need to empower their employees, give them genuine autonomy to shape their own work schedules.
Yeah.
That's what drives satisfaction and ultimately loyalty.
It's about treating lawyers like the professionals they are, trusting them to manage their own time and workload.
Exactly. And when it comes to those collaboration and mentorship challenges, the report suggests a shift in mindset.
Okay.
Firms need to move beyond just focusing on butts and seats.
Right.
Simply requiring people to be in the office
Yeah.
isn't a magic bullet for fostering those connections.
So what are some alternatives?
Right.
What are some concrete ways firms can create a more collaborative and supportive environment?
The report offers a range of possibilities.
Okay.
Things like workshops, coaching sessions,
Okay.
even just providing regular opportunities for informal social interaction.
Right.
It's about being intentional,
Yeah.
creating a culture that genuinely values those connections,
Right.
not just assuming they'll happen organically.
Less focus on just being present.
You're right.
More focus on actually building those relationships and cultivating a sense of community.
Exactly.
I like it.
And the report also suggests that firms should consider tailoring their policies to different practice groups.
Okay.
What works for a litigation team might not work for a transactional team, and so on.
Makes sense.
It's about recognizing that one size doesn't fit all,
Right?
and being willing to adapt to the specific needs of different teams.
That makes sense. It's about flexibility, not just for individuals, but for different teams within the firm as well.
Exactly.
So we've talked about flexibility, collaboration, and mentorship.
Yeah.
But what about the tech piece?
Okay.
The report mentioned technology's role in declining billable hours, right?
Right. Remember how we talked about how billable hours have been declining for almost 2 decades?
Yeah.
The report suggests this trend is partly driven by technological advancements that are automating some of the more routine tasks that lawyers used to do.
Right.
And that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Now, if technology can free up lawyers to focus on more complex, higher value work.
Yes.
That could be a win-win for everyone. It's
Exactly.
about working smarter, not just harder.
Exactly. It means that even though lawyers might be billing fewer hours,
Uh-huh.
they're potentially delivering more value per hour.
Right.
That could be a key piece of the productivity puzzle.
So it's not about resisting technology.
Right.
It's about embracing it and finding innovative ways to integrate it
Yeah.
into the way legal work gets done.
Yeah.
That's an important message, especially in a field that can be pretty resistant to change.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another important point.
Okay.
The report highlights the rise of alternative legal service providers,
Okay.
which are essentially companies that offer more tech-driven
Mm-hmm.
and often remote-friendly legal services.
Okay.
They're often seen as a threat to traditional law firms.
Right.
And one of their big selling points is, you guessed it,
Mm.
greater work-life balance and flexibility.
So if traditional law firms aren't careful,
Yeah.
they risk losing talent, not just to other firms,
Uh-huh.
but to a whole new breed of competitor
Right.
that's built around flexibility and tech savviness.
Precisely. So it's not just about internal competition anymore.
Right.
It's about the entire landscape of the legal industry shifting.
This report is really painting a picture of an industry at a crossroads.
Yeah.
The decisions firms make about these office policies
Mm-hmm.
are going to have ripple effects for years to come.
Uh-huh.
It's not just about where people work, it's about how they work,
Mhm.
how they connect, and ultimately how successful those firms will be in the future.
Well said.
Yeah.
So we've talked about a lot of what isn't working,
Right.
but what about solutions?
Yeah.
What are some key takeaways for firms that want to get this right?
Give us the cheat sheet.
Right.
What's the recipe for success in this new world of work?
Well, it all comes back to flexibility.
Okay.
It's not enough to just talk the talk.
Right.
Firms need to walk the walk.
Yeah. Okay.
Give lawyers genuine autonomy, trust them to manage their time and workload effectively,
Yeah.
and be open to tailoring policies to the needs of different teams.
So it's about recognizing that what works for one team might not work for another.
Right.
It's not a one-size-fits-all situation.
Exactly. And when it comes to collaboration and mentorship,
Yeah.
firms need to be proactive.
Okay.
Don't just assume these things will magically happen because people are sharing an office space.
Yeah.
Create structured opportunities for interaction,
Okay.
whether it's through workshops,
Ah,
coaching sessions,
Yeah.
or even just regular social events.
right.
It's about being intentional,
Okay.
creating a culture that genuinely values those connections,
Great.
not just assuming they'll occur spontaneously.
So create a culture that actively fosters those connections
Right.
rather than hoping they'll occur spontaneously.
Exactly. And don't forget about the power of technology.
Right.
Embrace the tools that can automate those routine tasks and
Okay.
free up lawyers to focus on higher level work. This can lead to increased value even if billable hours go down.
It's about adapting to the changing legal landscape and leveraging technology
Yeah.
to improve efficiency and work-life balance for everyone.
Exactly. It's about finding that sweet spot where flexibility, collaboration, and technology all work together.
Yeah.
It's a tall order, but the firms that can achieve this balance are the ones that will thrive in this new world of work.
This has been such an eye-opening deep dive.
Yeah, it has.
We started with the assumption that lawyers would be resistant to returning to the office,
Mm-hmm.
but the reality is far more nuanced.
It is.
It's not about hating the office. It's about finding an arrangement that works for both individuals and firms.
And as we wrap up, I think there's one final thought-provoking question we need to leave with you.
Okay, shoot.
Think about everything we've discussed today.
Okay.
The surprising satisfaction, the importance of flexibility, the retention, risks, the challenges with collaboration, and the evolving role of technology.
Yeah.
What does it all mean for the future of work?
I think you're leading us to a pretty big question here.
What if in this new world of work, flexibility is the new currency of success?
So it's not just a nice perk anymore.
Right.
It's a fundamental shift in how we think about work and success.
Exactly. In a world where top talent can work from anywhere for anyone,
Uh-huh.
the ability to offer a truly flexible and adaptable work environment becomes a powerful tool.
It's not just about attracting talent. It's about keeping them engaged and motivated.
Right.
It's about creating a culture where people feel valued and empowered.
So as you think about your own work preferences and career decisions, ask yourself,
Okay.
how much does flexibility matter to you?
Right.
Are you prioritizing it in the choices you make?
Are you seeking out employers who understand the value of flexibility,
Uh-huh.
or are you clinging to outdated models that might be holding you back?
Those are some big questions,
Yep.
but they're the ones we all need to be grappling with right now.
We'd love to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah,
Share your experiences and questions with us on social media.
please.
How does this compare to your workplace? What are you seeing out there in the wild world of work?
Yes, let's keep this conversation going
Yeah.
because the future of work is being shaped right now,
Uh-huh.
and we all have a role to play in defining what it looks like.
Until next time, happy diving.